Echo.
Hello Mechwarriors. Today I'm doing a review of the UrbanMech 2C, and this is the legendary HASHKE, which means that I got the legendary pack, and that includes the Abaddon. Now both mechs are capable of a lot of fun, provided that you put the right kind of builds on them. And I think I've come across a build for this one that seems to work really well for me, and I'm still working on the Abaddon, but this one seems to work incredibly well for me. And what I've done on this is I've done a Proto 8, I've done 2 heavy machine guns, and then I went with 3 heavy medium lasers. And because this doesn't have any weapons that go in the center torso or in the head, this is what you basically get with this. So you got to be really careful with this build, because if you lose the arms, you're basically a walking trash can that's only going to be receiving damage and not putting it out. So to better understand this guy, let's go up to the store. And you can see mechs are on sale. By the way, this is an important one to me. If you've got MC laying around, getting additional GSP after that beach party where you've got all those extra mechs and you don't have it, but you may have a lot of extra MC, 650, or what is it, 625 will buy you 100 GSP. That's a big deal to me. And as you can see by the amount of MC I have, I spent a lot of it. So we're going to go to the light mechs, and we're going to go to the UrbanMech 2C. And there's the Abandon and the HASHKE. So here's what the HASHKE looks like originally. As you can see, I made some minor alterations to the outside. So the original build on this has an Ultra AC-20, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 tons of ammo, and then it has a ton of ammo for the standard machine guns here. And then on the left arm, it appears to have 3 micro lasers. Now, that's not a bad deal, and it has a single jump jet. That's not a bad deal, and it's not a bad build. I just don't really enjoy the fact that Ultra AC-20s have a tendency to jam. Now, there is something in that for this build. And we come down here and take a look. Under Quirks, we have a chassis C build bonus of plus 30. Yay. We have a UAC jam duration reduction of 30%. And a clan UAC jam chance reduction of 30% as well. We also have a ballistic velocity of plus 20%. We have a range boost of 10%. We have a clan machine gun rate of fire increase of 50%. We have a cooldown on all the weapons of 15%. And we have a laser duration reduction of 20%. Now, in addition to that, you're also getting a whole bunch of quirks for ammo. So you can go with LBXs, you can go with Protos, you can go with AC weapons. You can go with a whole bit different types of things. And what I did is I went with the Proto 8. So with the Proto 8, I'm going to get an ammo boost of an additional 50 shells. Now, if you go with the UAC 20, let's see here, UAC 20 on the list. Should be right there. Yeah, UAC 20, you're going to get an additional 32 shots. That's not a bad deal. But in my opinion, a weapon that only fires occasionally, even if it does have jam chance reductions and duration reductions, is still not a very useful weapon. I like weapons that always fire. So, in between cooldown, of course, but otherwise, you know, I can just push the button and I know they're going to work every single time. They're not going to have a jam chance. And that jam chance is just, it just doesn't make any sense, honestly. There shouldn't be a jam chance. That's a poorly made weapon. I've been shooting guns, handguns and rifles since I was old enough to basically hold a BB gun or whatever. And I can count the number of times on one hand that I've had a weapon that was properly taken care of and properly cleaned that ever jammed. And it was usually with rimfire weapons. And this doesn't sound like a rimfire weapon. Definitely not. So in addition, we're getting a survival base armor, center torso plus 10. And right torso +7, left torso +7, right arm +14, left arm +14, and the legs we're getting +7. I really like that they really boosted the armor on the arms because, you know, that's where the weapons platforms are anyways. Heat dissipation of 15% and overheat damage protection of 25%. So there's really a lot you can do into this if you have all this additional protection, survivability, extra ammo. For me, it's the ballistics, velocity, the range, and the general cooldown on the weapons. So 15% cooldown, when you add, if you max it out in the skill tree, that's an additional 9.6 on top of that 15, which is going to give you 14.5. So, or 24.5, excuse me. So that's going to give you a really nice cooldown on all your weapons and being able to fire them more often. And that is something absolutely worth taking care of. So, shortcomings of this build, the backup defensive weapons are kind of lacking. You know, you get 2 machine guns and 3 micro lasers. The nice thing that the micro lasers have in their favor is they have a super fast cooldown and they produce almost no heat. You can actually absolutely win a match with these because if you fire these on chain fire, it's almost like you have a small X-pulse laser. But if you just do them on alpha strikes, they still do damage. I mean, you know, it's not a lot of damage, 2.4, but look at the cooldown. The cooldown is hella quick. So that's going to be a benefit in this on this mech with these going with this. If it was me, I would have gone with an Ultra AC-10, maybe up these to heavy machine guns, and maybe make these ones here heavy small lasers. You know, just give you that extra little bump. You know, 6.5 times 3 is going to give you a nice little jolt of electricity when somebody comes around the corner and they think they own you. Oh, it's an UrbanMech. Yeah, I'm going to take this guy out. You know, that's gonna do some damage in close quarters. And of course, the Ultra AC-10 is going to have a faster cooldown than this Ultra AC-20. So, you know, that's a factor there. Having the heavy machine guns is going to make a difference as well. And that's why when we look at my build, we have 2 heavy machine guns. And I just went straight out with having an alpha strike on the left arm of 30. Why not? Now, I chain fire these typically, but if you strike those buttons really fast, it's pretty quick output damage. And if you have them on chain fire and you fire these in a chain fire configuration, even as fast as you're double clicking that mouse on the button 2 for me in this case, it's going to still manage your heat a little bit better than doing a full alpha strike. It's just going to give you that extra little edge so you can continue firing your weapons, because this is not the only thing you have going on here. I bumped it up from 1 jump jet to 2, and I did 2.5 tons of ammo for the Proto 8. I did a half ton of ammo for the heavy machine guns, and the reason I only went with a half ton is, quite honestly, it just comes down to I'm not going to be spending a lot of time, in my opinion, in close quarters. So these heavy machine guns do have a range on them, and it's not very good. The range on these is about 130, and then I'm getting some boosts out of it for the from the Quirks. But we're getting, what are we getting here? 132. So that's really pretty close quarters. And that aside, I want my Proto 8 and my 3 heavy machine guns, or heavy lasers, excuse me, to do the bulk of the work. These are going to be the workhorses on this build. Everything else is just kind of supplemented it, and that's what the heavy machine guns are about. Now, if you don't feel comfortable running this with 3 heavy medium lasers, there's an option that I would also recommend. You go with 2 heavies, and then you take this one and you run this as like a small pulse, and that's still the same amount of tonnage. And then you can take that small pulse and tie that in with the heavy machine guns on like a button 3 kind of thing. And that way you've got that extra output, because a small pulse is going to have a pretty fast cooldown, remember, because you have a cooldown across the entire mech, and you're going to be working out with my skill setup at a 24.5% cooldown. That's going to be a pretty nice benefit right there. You're going to be able to fire those a lot more often. The machine guns are obviously going to have that rate of fire improvement on them. and that's going to make the projectile speed and the rate of fire really nice for stripping armor. So there's a lot of things going on there. In addition, I bumped the engine up on this one to a 180. So let's take a look at the meat and potatoes of this build. The heat management is not great, but I took care of it in the skills tree. So the heat management is sitting at a measly 1.13. That is not great. But considering the output that this thing is putting out, it's actually kind of impressive that it's even that high. The firepower we're getting is 52. And yes, you could do an alpha strike with this, and do so. You're going to be hitting them with this Proto 8 that's doing 8 damage here, and then you're going to be hitting them with these 30 here, and you could do that. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could do it, and it's still going to dish out some decent damage. Of course, the machine guns, their fire output is based on how long you fire them, and so they're not going to be doing huge numbers right in the beginning, but it does help. We have a speed now of 97.2, which is much better, honestly. We still have jump jets, and if you look here, we have full armor. There's no skimping here whatsoever. So we're taking advantage of every single ton that we can possibly put on this thing. And if it worked out that I was a little bit light on the legs or someplace else, I would have probably taken some of it out of the head, because I think 22 armor in the head is maybe a little bit on the excessive side. Not quite like the M, where I think it's got like 59 armor in the head. Wow, that thing is so impressive. That's why I own one, or 2, or 3. I have an addiction. We're all talking about it. So when we come over here to the skills tree, what I've done is I've capitalized on the cooldown, so I can fire those heavy mediums and that Proto 8 as often as I possibly can. I really want to capitalize on that 15% quirk for a weapons cooldown. In addition, I'm not too worried about range, because this is a fire support build. You are not going to be the tip of the spear in this mech. You want to be fire support. So I maxed out heat generation, because obviously. I added additional ammo capacity, because I want to capitalize on that 2.5 tons. Even though this thing has amazing quirks for the ammo capacity, I want more ammo. I want to stay in the fight longer. Those heavy medium lasers have one drawback in addition to the amount of heat that they produce, and it's it takes forever to fire. So I strongly recommend laser duration reduction. Strongly. It's going to allow you to be able to get in there, poke, get the hell out. You basically want to release your damage and get it into cover as quickly as you possibly can. And that's what I do when I drive my ATM builds. I release my damage, I get to cover, so that way the return volley, we're not trading. If anything, I'm just selling them damage. Survivability, I went all out. Skeleton density, armor hardening, reinforced casing. I always have these 3 going on my builds, and it makes a huge difference. But I also went full in on overheat damage protection, because I'm in override. Shutting down in the middle of a match is basically giving your opponent the opportunity for them to do free damage to you. And more often than not, they go for a headshot, and lately they seem to be going for leg shots. I can't get my head around that. Operations. Now, this side of operations to me is just more survivability. We went with cool run and heat containment, basically giving you a higher threshold of pain as far as the heat goes. Seismic sensor, I feel like, is kind of a no-brainer. You kind of need to have this. Seismic sensor is really going to work way better than a UAV. Having a UAV is always nice. And it helps your teammates get target locks. So the UAV is about you and your team. And when somebody shoots down a UAV, which is easy to do, it also tells you where they are. So they inadvertently tell you where they are if you didn't possibly know. And sometimes that works as a big advantage, because you put a UAV up, you're looking for somebody, your teammates are trying to kill this guy. They shoot it down. It's like, oh, he's coming from Charlie 4, because that's approximately where the shot came from, or Delta 6, or wherever he was. So the seismic sensor is going to work in the sense of that if they're close by and they're moving, you're going to be able to attack them. And I can't tell you how many times I've gotten kills from people just simply walking by me, not knowing I was there. It makes a huge difference. I feel like ECM kind of tells on you sometimes, because when somebody gets close by, they get the low signal, and that means, oh, there's a mech nearby. But without ECM, they don't know until they actually run into you, or until their sensor, they see you. So there's something there to be said about that. I didn't go with anything in sensor range, and you can see I didn't even click on any of these here. I had my own plan and my own agenda for this build right from the start. I went with 2 cool shots and a single artillery strike. And the reason I went with these 2 additional nodes here is they make the duration of the artillery strike last longer. And that's really what this is all about right there. So it was important enough for me to put 2 nodes into that, so that the 1 artillery strike I have on this mech is going to last as long as possible. And don't discount artillery strikes. They really make a difference. I don't like airstrikes as much because they shoot in a straight line, whereas an artillery strike, wherever you put that pink smoke, it's gonna do devastation all around it. And I've gotten more than 5 kills even in this year with artillery strikes. Just really well placed right at the last part of the match. You see the guy, the enemy team might be closing on him. He's boxed up in a corner. He's already hurt. You throw the artillery strike on him, and whether you could hit him with your missiles or your weapons, the artillery strike's going to do the job for you. I think I probably actually had about 5 or 6 kills this year since January that way. I've gotten really good with doing this. So the button layout I've set up on this is button 1 is going to operate the left side here, and button 2 is going to operate the Proto 8 on the right side here. And if you select the Proto 8 as the last weapon on this platform, it'll actually put the Proto 8 in a higher position than these 2 heavy machine guns. And that's what you really want. You want to be able to go over the top of the hill and poke. You don't want to expose your entire mech to fire. And ultimately, if you could figure out a way to make these Proto 8s and these lasers higher up, I would strongly recommend it. So if you decided to go with that small pulse laser to replace one of these, make sure that you're putting it in the lower section, so that that way your heavy mediums are up high, so they're dishing out the damage with your Proto 8. So that's how I did that, and then I put the heavy machine guns on button 3. Ultimately, I feel like this is a really well-rounded loadout and build. This is a great fire support, and in the event that you get separated from your team, you can defend yourself.
Artillery strike. New target acquired.
We have an assault in Echo 4 where the letter E is. That I'm a 30-ton mech and I just neutralized that 100-ton.
minute. I don't know from where. On the Bullshark.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal. Override engaged.
Get to the target.
Warning, incoming missile. Warning, incoming missile.
Target spotted. Target spotted. Target spotted.
We've taken down the enemy's Alpha.
There's a king crab up here in
Incoming
oh,
missile. New target acquired. Artillery strike activated.
Target spotted.
New target acquired.
Target spotted.
Remember, if you see light mechs, go for the legs.
Target spotted. Target spotted.
At 25%. New target acquired.
Target spotted.
Warning, incoming
Target
missile.
spotted.
Warning, incoming missile.
We've held the zone for 25%.
Great job, boys. We're taking the zone. Look at Foxtrot 7, there's an assault.
At 25%. Fuel at 0%. New target
Need
acquired.
assistance.
Look out for the Jenner.
Target spotted.
New target acquired. Heat level critical. Override shutdown. Critical. Override shutdown. Target destroyed.
Need assistance. Sorry. Target spotted.
There's a Cyclops coming up behind us. He has exposed chest armor.
Target spotted.
Hell yeah, brother.
Target spotted.
Alpha's left leg is soft.
I scout snaked.
New target acquired.
First kill in this Urbie mech period.
Target spotted.
Critical.
As long as we keep a presence in the center zone, we should be mostly okay.
Heat level critical. Override shutdown. Target
Alpha.
destroyed.
There you go.
We've almost got him. There's an assault in Echo 6.
Target acquired.
There's a medium in the circle.
New target acquired.
Need assistance. Target
New
spotted.
target acquired.
kilo. Last seen near Echo 6.
Target destroyed.
Sweet.
Nice job, boys.
Warriors, you have taken the target. We are victorious in battle.
This thing is a beast. I need to tone the heat down though. Ooh, 47 team damage. 664 damage though? Seriously. That's the first time driving this thing. Wow. At least this build.